Is there anything in addition to the obvious against TCU that really struck you as a continuing concern, a new concern, or maybe something that, hey, I didn't expect us to break out in this way or that way? Was there anything off the radar that struck you about the TCU effort?
So offensively, no, not really. I think you saw a team that looked a little bit more like you had expected Oklahoma to look coming into the season. I think it was a little bit. I think a lot of people watching Caleb Williams in that Texas game, coming off of that game, number one was, did he and the Oklahoma team play that well, or was it Texas just really being surprised and not ready for him coming in? Probably was ready for him from a kind of a third and short or fourth down, red zone specifically situation, but maybe not necessarily throughout the totality of the game. So there was some, not concerns, but maybe more so questions on how he would play against a defense that had been ready for him. So played, I mean, pretty flawless, to be honest, against TCU. The numbers were off the chart. 4 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown on the ground. I think over 350, 375 yards of total offense, maybe even more of that. I'm just kind of going off the cuff here. So I think that was it looked like a team that was more in the mold of how they looked with a Jalen Hurts, or how they looked a little bit more with a Kyler Murray. So we'll see how that kind of transpires. Offensive line had their best game of the year, I think, in total. Raim was really good. You can tell he's getting a little bit more confidence. I think the communication is a little bit better. The right tackle Tyrese Robinson was a little bit banged up against Texas. Gave it a go. He played. He played like a guy that was injured. He didn't play great. He just the movement wasn't as strong as you would like. Eric Swinson came in and played pretty well. So I think Oklahoma, 2 consecutive weeks that you've seen them run for over 200 yards. I think that's the recipe for success for Oklahoma, to be able to open up the play action game, open up the deep throw, so the deep game. So I think that was really solid. I think overall receivers played well. Jaden Hazelwood had 3 touchdown receptions, something that you're excited about if you're an Oklahoma fan. So that's the that's the positive. The negative is the secondary. I think that the secondary is really the biggest concern on this team right now. We talked about this before. I think they rank 116th or 117th against the pass, 277 yards per game that they're giving up on average. So there's a little bit of a mixed bag on why that's happening. They've got specifically in this game against TCU, they had 3 of their top 4 secondary players out with an injury. DJ Graham went out in the concussion protocol early on, so they had moved Billy Bowman over from nickel to corner. Didn't really turn out very well. Got beat in coverage, and he's a true freshman, so you kind of expect that to a certain extent, especially moving positions in the middle of the week. But I think they desperately need to get some. They need to get healthy. So I think, I don't want to steal too much thunder about the importance of this game on Saturday, but I think to an extent, Oklahoma being able to get healthy on the back end, I think it is critical. Open field tackling was still a problem. Making plays on the ball in the air was continued to be a problem. So this was an area that Oklahoma, if there was any concern, I think on the defensive side of the ball, it was the secondary, particularly the corners, being able to replace what we're now seeing is two. Trey Norwood and Trey Brown, those 2 guys that are playing on Sundays right now, which I don't know if we thought that would happen, but they've turned out to be pretty good thus far early on in the NFL season. So I think, missing those kids maybe a little bit more than maybe we thought to start the year. But yeah, that's something that Oklahoma has to get in order in quick fashion, because as we mentioned, they got a little bit of a reprieve here this week, but then you got Texas Tech the following week. But then you got to buy to hopefully get healthy before you've got that stretch run in November that has we thought it was going to be tough going in, but I think it's even a lot more tougher now than I think initially thought, with Baylor and Oklahoma State being much better than I think we thought coming into the season.
Yeah, Trey Norwood. I caught the Steelers game, some of it on Sunday night, and he showed up to play. He made some big plays in the game, and they were commenting that he was in the mix for them in regards to seeing, okay, out of this collection of guys, who's going to step up? And he's been the guy, and he certainly was on Sunday night. He made some really good open field tackles and disrupted some plays, definitely for the Pittsburgh Steelers.